System and process. That's what we're going to talk about today. My name is Cameron Toth, and this is Biz Dev Live. If you're in your business and you aren't creating systems and processes, do you have a business? Do you have something that you could take and sell to somebody else? You probably don't. You have your name brand. And if you look at a business like McDonald's or White Castle, anything that's franchisable, right? A chain, Home Depot, even, which is a very large store, but on a small level, on a big level, you have a McDonald's franchise. If there's no system and process for actually making those hamburgers, serving those customers, taking care of that facility, the local customers aren't going to continue to be local customers for very long. If they don't go and experience the same experience that they experienced at other stores of the same brand name, that business will fail. I'm sure if you go back and I'm sure if you dig online, you'll find examples of chains and franchises that did not work. One, because they didn't follow a system. Maybe they weren't placed in the right area. There are reasons that, getting into a chain or franchise is a great way to start out in a business because you're going to get the blueprint model given to you. You're going to get that turnkey piece. So when you're creating your own business, how do you create the turnkey systems that allow you to perform better and then allow you to expand and scale, right? When you hire that first employee, do you actually have a system and process to give them? When you are doing sales, you know how you do sales, right? You understand when you get somebody on the phone, right? If I get somebody on the phone for Toth Event Staffing, I assume that client is booking. Why? Is it rude to assume that? Why do I do that? Because if I don't, if I say, well, let me send you an estimate, it becomes a lot of work a lot of times. Now, just because I assume that the client is become a customer doesn't mean they will be. But if I don't assume that, it doesn't give the sense of confidence that the client is looking for. With staff going into a home facility, what they are looking for is somebody that has confidence, that's going to take care of them, that's going to do what is needed for the event. They're asking for help. So by me showing a lack of confidence and saying, well, let me know what you think, it doesn't send that vibe. By saying, yep, we'll take care of you. It's booked. It's all secured, right? We're taking that aggravation, that piece off of their back, off of their to-do list. And that, for somebody that's trying to plan an event, is what they're looking for. And so I know that for myself. For your company, do your other people know what you're doing? Do you know what you're doing? Are you figuring it out every time you're on a sales call? If you've gotten it figured out, have you written it down? Have you systemized? Have you created a process? Have you documented why you do what you do? In terms of getting the information for a party for Toth Event Staffing, I have documented that, right? Here's the steps. As I have a customer, I have a page that I can hand a new employee. Here's the information that you're collecting. Assume that the client is booking, get all the information. If they're on the fence or that sort of thing, address the issues, address the concerns. If you don't know, send it over to me, follow up with me. But that's how we get a client into the system, get an email out to them. And even if they're not a client this time around, we're ready to set up and make it easy for their next call, for their next chance at that business. So whether it's system and process for your sales part of your business or any other aspect, bookkeeping. I tell this story in terms of how I've done a really great job of hiring waiters, bartenders, chefs, and kitchen assistants, and documented that process. I have forms, can show people how to do it, can do the phone interview, can do the in-person interview. I don't need to be there. Here's the system. Here's the document. This is what I'm looking for. Go to town, right? It's still a challenging job. Not everybody can do it, but I have the system and process for those people that can. The pieces are there. Now, I talk about this in terms of me hiring a bookkeeper. I had all this documentation for how to hire a waiter, a chef, kitchen assistant, done it many, many times. But I went out to hire a bookkeeper. And instead of having built a blueprint with my daily work as a bookkeeper for the business, I started Toth Event Staffing in 2011, sending chefs and waiters and bartenders and kitchen assistants and captains out to homes. And so started with Excel sheets, eventually moved to QuickBooks. And here I am in 2016, 2017, hiring a bookkeeper, and I'm going online for a job description. I should have had that job description all filled out. I knew what I did. I knew what systems I used, but instead I'm going to a third-party resource to say, oh, well, what does a bookkeeper do? I was doing the job of bookkeeper. I know what a bookkeeper does for my business. I should have built that from my systems and processes that I've already built. I need a QuickBooks Pro. I need somebody that knows QuickBooks better than I do, at least as good as I do, if not better than I do. But I got halfway through my job interview process, and I happened to get somebody on the phone that was a QuickBooks Pro. I was like, oh my goodness, light bulb. I need a QuickBooks Pro, right? Because I hadn't documented what I was doing in that given role in that piece of the business. So for your business, you're going to need marketing. You're going to need sales. You're going to need organization. You're going to need communications. These are all different roles of a big, giant corporation. They're going to have VPs and directors and managers. You are all that when you start your business. Create those systems and processes for each of those roles. So as you get ready to take that next step, first, you know how to do it really well for yourself. So you're systemizing, you're processing, wasting less time on the process for yourself because you're not recreating the wheel each time you go back to a task that you've already done before. Systemize, document. You can record yourself. There's lots of different systems and tools out there. We'll save that for another day. But the important thing is documenting your system and your process. Write down, journal, and then create documents for each of these positions so that as you go along and you're looking to fill this position or role. Marketing, when you do your marketing, get your marketing Google Doc or Microsoft Word doc, whatever doc you're using, or your folder, however you prefer to store information. But make sure that as you're doing your marketing, you have that marketing folder or that page open and you're documenting, all right, I'm using this system and this is my intention. This is my goal. This is how I'm tracking things. Document that stuff. And as you do it, a little tiny bit at a time, if you try to document everything that you do in one day, it's going to be very challenging, if not impossible. But if you document things over time, it's going to be better because as you learn, you're recording those learnings, you're recording it, you're building on your progress from the last time. So your process builds on your progress, allows you to build your systems, it allows you to build your routines and your good habits that allows you to scale. I hope this was extremely helpful to you today. Please let me down in the comments if you thought this was helpful. I will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Got my haircut today. I was a little late to get into BizDev Live, but we'll be back on track tomorrow. Had my surgery on Tuesday. I hope you all are wonderful and have an amazing day. I'm going to show off what our show was about today and go into our BizDev theme. See you tomorrow.
BizDev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. BizDev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. BizD with C, brought to you by Cameron T. BizD with C, brought to you by Cameron T. This is business development, not even selling it. This is intelligent. If you watch it, I promise you benefit. Leadership and motivation, empathy and inspiration. Leadership and motivation, empathy and inspiration. BizDev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. BizDev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. BizD with C, brought to you by Cameron T. BizD with C.